What is it about? Jensen?
Yes. Shall we get going?
Please.
Okay.
Sorry for being late.
Namaste, everyone. I'm Chintan Vaishnav, Mission Director of Atal Innovation Mission. Today, we are going to talk about a very important program of our mission called Atal Community Innovation Center, especially two building blocks of this program. If you have traveled to rural India or have worked there, you would have experienced the joy of seeing many champions who work tirelessly to lift communities around them. And people trust them, they love them. But many of these champions are not, they don't have the support that you can get if you were in cities, metro cities, and so on. And so this program, ACIC, its mission is to integrate such champions into the mainstream innovation ecosystem. And today's two building blocks are in that direction. ACIC, so far we have established 12 ACICs, and our mandate is to go to 50 ACICs across India. The idea is to work in the direction of sustainable development goals and do community transformation along sustainable pathways. The two blocks that are being launched today are first, Community Innovation Fellowship, or CIF. This is where such champions will be given an opportunity to go through a 1-year-long intensive fellowship to make them more SDG aware, to impart modern entrepreneurship skills and life skills for their ability to interact with many more stakeholders. The second building block is the operations manual. This is a manual we have put together which has 6 pillars, namely infrastructure, people, knowledge, network, finance, and monitoring and feedback. We are making both of these building blocks and all of the material open source for any institution doing community work to rise and make use of them. The reason for doing this can't be clearer. 55% of currently recognized startups are from industrial hubs like Delhi, Mumbai, and Bangalore. 65% of India lives in rural India. So there is clearly a concentration of resources for its own reasons, but clearly creativity and innovation are not bounded by geography. This is the second wave of this argument that Atal Innovation Mission is making. The first wave of the argument was that the creativity and innovation are not bound by language. Today's argument is creativity and innovation are not bound by geography. So we want to create equitable opportunities for these innovators from small towns and villages of our country to join the entrepreneurial ecosystem of our nation. As you would recognize that there has been a lot of interesting experiments and hard work by many people in this direction, but there currently exists no single model or dominant model by which we understand how to do it. The idea of this program is to lead towards that dominant model or those dominant models, however it works out. So let me say that it is a distinct pleasure for us to work in this direction with UNDP India. You will hear from Shoko later on, especially the CIF, the Community Innovation Fellowship part of this program. And to support first generation entrepreneurs in this sort of holistic manner where there is the physical and the digital skills are provided, but are also the life skills, as I mentioned, are provided. The operations manual also has taken a lot of thought in integrating where these stakeholders stand, what kind of intervention they need, what type of values we want to create, and so on. So you would hopefully see those reflected in when you see when these get launched. Again, as I said, these will be made publicly available so that it builds confidence in all institutions that do this kind of work. This is a major step towards making innovation inclusive, yet another step from Atal Innovation Mission. And once again, my welcome to you in this launch. We're going to hear from several people today, but we will start with a small presentation, slide presentation by Manglesh Yadav, who is the program director of ACIC program, to give us the details. Over to you, Manglesh.
Good afternoon, respected dignitaries, and welcome to all the people who have joined us virtually. What we do over here today is a small, brief introduction of what Atal Community Innovation Centers are. If you want to, and just to add to the points that Dr. Chintan just made, the purpose is to create an equitable opportunity for innovators across the country and provide as much as geographical opportunity possible to everyone. And what we are trying to do is to reach to the bottom of the pyramid, build an entire innovation movement in the undeserved and underserved regions of the country by providing infrastructural, financial, learning, and ideating support to the innovators. What exactly are we moving towards? So what is an Atal Community Innovation Center? There are 6 major pillars that we are trying to look at. First is obviously our focus. The focus is tier 2, tier 3 cities and unserved and underserved regions of the innovation ecosystem. What are we providing here? We actually are looking at providing an infrastructure support, obviously, to build the Atal Community Innovation Center. But we are also looking at our Atal Community Innovation Centers as a builder of ecosystem. So they could leverage the support that is being provided from our side and grow multifolds and provide as much opportunities as possible to the innovators. We are helping them to build an incubation ecosystem. We have had our learnings over the last 5 years as we move into the as we have moved on to building the innovation ecosystem, and these learnings we are trying to provide to all the community innovation centers. We also would do that via one of the releases that we do today. Why are we focusing on communities? SDGs is one of our focus, and SDG 2030 is where we are moving towards. We want to accelerate our journey towards it and bring equitable opportunity to everyone as fast as possible in all the SDG goals. And hence the focus has been more on grassroots innovations and building a community-based innovation by an innovator. Why are we looking at design innovative thinking? As we said at the beginning, the focus is to actually bring the first generation entrepreneurs into the entire innovation ecosystem, which means a lot of ideation, designing support would be required, and hence the entire pre-incubation model, designing model, innovative thinking model would be propagated via the ACICs. And a very, very important part for building the ACIC is the PPP approach that we have taken. It's a joint approach wherein obviously the government is funding to building the infrastructure, but we are also requesting the corporates to finance the entire innovation movement that we are in, so that we can together build the entire grassroots innovation ecosystem. Where are we currently? Currently, we have 12 ACICs established in the country. We have a few going through due diligence, and the selection of the second cohort is already in progress. Our ACICs are present in 10 plus states of the country. Why are we gathered today here? The idea is that the Community Innovator Fellowship that we launched today will be a 1-year fellowship that will be provided to an aspiring community innovator. The support will be provided by the ACICs. What are we looking at? What are the main features that we're looking at? Knowledge that will be provided by the ACIC and the entire team that is sitting here, along with the support of UNDP, which has a lot of understanding of the grassroots innovation. the infrastructure of the ACIC would be used. The mentorship network would be utilized from the entire mentor of change model that we have developed. And obviously the support of UNDP would be required on ground for the same. The funding is already there. And this is a milestone based funding for the innovators. The two most important parts of the Community Innovator Fellowship is the community immersion. The idea is that the innovators spend some time in the community, understanding the community before they start building their solutions, and hence community innovation, immersion and inclusion are the two important pillars on which the entire model has been built. It's a 12-month program. The entire phases are specified on the slide, and we'll obviously be sharing this on our website. The second part is the operations manual. The idea of building this operations manual is obviously, yes, providing some guiding opportunities to the community innovation centers, but it is not restricted to the community innovation centers alone. It is for anyone who wants to build an innovation ecosystem around them. What are the major pillars that they should be focusing on? What are the various ways in which they could do? So the idea, the purpose is not only for only our ACICs, but for any community innovation center that wants to build itself. The beneficiaries and the proposed impact are as follows.
Can I ask one clarification? Sure. Are we into an event which launches it?
We are
presentation.
Into a launch.
We are into a launch. Yeah.
Sure.
Towards the end, maybe after you.
No, I'll ask you later. Because I'm not so clear about this fellowship, like how it will. But go on, please. Yeah. Please carry.
So, and the beneficiaries would be the community innovators that come together at the ACICs. The impact would be achieved as we move ahead. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much, Manglish. Let us next hear from Ms. Shoko Noda, UNDP resident representative in India.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Kumar, Vice Chair of NITI Aayog, Mr. Amitav Khan, CEO of NITI Aayog, Dr. Chintan, Mission Director of Atal Innovation Mission, Ms. Priya Naik, founder of Samhita, and colleagues and dear friends. Very good afternoon. We are very excited to be here at the launch of this pioneering fellowship. UNDP India has been working very closely with NITI Aayog and Atal Innovation Mission for years now. And I'm very happy to say that our partnership has been strengthened over time as we move forward together in our commitment to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. In the past year itself, we have worked on SDG Index, Northeast SDG Index, the multi-dimensional poverty index, and appraisal of the aspirational district program and SDG localization. And we have also published joint reports such as Handbook on Sustainable Urban Plastic Waste Management, Impact on COVID-19 on Youth-Led Social Innovation. And we have also collaborated in designing Youth Collab in India together with Atal Innovation Mission. And over the years, we have jointly supported over 200 youth-led social enterprises. At UNDP, innovation is a core principle that we apply to everything we do. Initiatives like Youth Collab and Accelerator Lab are directed towards nurturing innovation by working with communities while making the process more inclusive. And for innovation to be truly inclusive, those who are marginalized in the society need to drive innovation and not just benefit from it. The new Community Innovator Fellowship will provide this very opportunity. This fellowship was born from the realization that innovation must be disruptive and should foster inclusion. Innovation for development is about identifying more effective solutions that add value to the lives of people affected by challenges and crises. As already mentioned by Dr. Chantan, this fellowship initiative will facilitate knowledge building and provide infrastructure support to aspiring community innovators across India in the entrepreneurship journey. This one-year program hopefully will also provide opportunities to young aspiring entrepreneurs to understand the principles of Sustainable Development Goals, gain entrepreneurial and new age technical skills while working on their ideas. The launch of this fellowship is very timely. UNDP, along with our partners, have recently developed curricula on 21st century skills and entrepreneurship development. The curricula will be instrumental in promoting and strengthening employability and entrepreneurship of young Indians. Along with the Youth Lab regional learning platform, these resources are now available in different regional languages and will be accessible to all fellowship recipients. The Atal Innovation Mission and UNDP will leverage our existing network of civil society organizations, private sector, and government establishment to create a robust entrepreneurial ecosystem at the grassroots level. So we hope that this collaboration will lead to very systemic changes to mainstream innovation and provide a platform for many stakeholders to engage and support this initiative. I wish all the success to the new venture. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shoko. We will next hear from Priya Naik, founder and CEO of Samvita Social Ventures, and a practitioner and somebody who speaks to many practitioners. Over to you.
Thank you, Chintan, and thank you for the opportunity to attend this event. So I just want to say three things. One, as an introduction to Samvita, we sit in the middle of multiple stakeholders. We work with the government, the private sector, startups, incubators, etc. The intent is to really drive large-scale change. When we received, I think, your invitation and the note, it couldn't have come at a better time. In the last year and a half in particular, we've seen really large-scale collaborations, whether it's international or national foundations, whether it's corporates, nonprofits, unicorns. So just to give you a sense, today we work with MSDF, Omidyar, USAID, the Gates Foundation, and we know that every single one of these partners, including UNDP, are very firmly focused on entrepreneurship and innovation, and particularly from the grassroots. So really an outstanding framework to allow to build much greater collaboration. The second is we work with many companies across the country. And over the last few years, particularly under the CSR regulation, we've seen a mindset shift from companies looking to adopt communities where they try to deliver services, which is neither scalable nor sustainable, to the model that you're actually proposing, which is community-led entrepreneurs and innovators who understand local context and are able to serve the needs of people that they know best. Where CSR acts as a facilitator, but really it is the innovators and entrepreneurs who take the lead to deliver critical services. And having UNDP as a partner to align it with SDGs and ensure that you're addressing basic needs of communities. And Chintan, you talked about community transformation. I mean, what better a model to do that? Third, we work with about 8,000 NGOs, social enterprises, private providers. And as we talk to each of them, we understand that they themselves want to link in with this ecosystem that you're creating on the ground, because while they may have domain expertise in health, education, livelihood, water and sanitation, etc., everyone's looking for a local community-based innovator and entrepreneur who can take that technical expertise and then deliver it into things that are most relevant for that community. And the last is also, I think, we're working on a community empowerment index, which if we're able to integrate this with the work that you're doing, then every stakeholder, the innovator himself or herself, the community, the funder, the execution partner, everyone is able to see how you've really enabled that community transformation over a period of time, but using the innovator as the central linchpin. So what we're very excited to do is really work with you to create that enabling ecosystem, both at the local level, but also at the macro level, so that what you're attempting to do is truly replicable and scalable. And the last thing I want to say is, even in the last year, while we've set up many alliances, one particular alliance that we've worked on, it's called Revive. It's actually supported by UNDP, actually co-created with them, but also supported by some of India's largest companies and foundations and NGOs and sort of enterprises, I think what it's teaching us is that the innovator or the entrepreneur require multiple inputs. They require a series of financial instruments. You're already providing a stipend and some sort of a startup support. But as they evolve and they mature and you actually want them to accelerate fairly quickly, they're going to need a series of financial instruments. So we now have a lot of data and evidence to actually deliver this support at scale using digital formats, using NBFCs and banks. And we've created this continuum, which means grants, returnable grants, low-cost debt, and then ensuring that they're able to access finance. Simultaneously, what we're also attempting to do is to bring together banks, NBFCs, unlock priority sector lending budgets, unlock a lot of the government schemes that are available so that you're building a series of partnerships around this individual. The third is to ensure that in addition to the entrepreneurship training that you're providing, also bring in other skill training, which is critical. So for example, we have lots of partnerships where we are, again, through digital models, helping innovators and entrepreneurs with things like bookkeeping, right, which are so integral. I mean, you know, they are very service-oriented innovators, but we have to also think about building a sustainable business. So how do you equip them with the right skills? And the last is really large-scale digitization support. I mean, you know, the one advantage of COVID has been the financial and the digital disruption, and positive in every way, that we've seen. And so how do we take all of these macro trends, but build multiple layers of support as they go from being new innovators to actually established entrepreneurs addressing community needs? So just to summarize, I think very, very exciting initiative. I love how you've already put together many, many aspects, right? Whether it's knowledge or infrastructure support or mentorship. And we'd love to work with you and bring this entire ecosystem of funding partners, experts, technical assistance providers, private sector around to ensure that you're able to deliver this at scale from the get-go.
Thank you very much, Priya. Let us next hear from Mr. Amitabh Kant, CEO of Niti Aayog. Over to you, sir.
Mr. Rajiv Kumar, Dr. Rajiv Kumar, Vice Chairman, Niti Aayog. Shoko Noda, the UNDP Resident Representative. Mr. Chintan Vaishnav, Priya Nayak, all the distinguished guests here. Let me first compliment Atal Innovation Mission and UNDP in collaborating together to create an innovation ecosystem at the grassroots level. And I really look at the potential of youth in developing sustainable solutions. And this Community Innovator Fellowship, which is a year-long program facilitated through ACICs, will help provide opportunities to innovators from the bottom of the pyramid. And I see that it goes through all kind of not merely financial support, but also infrastructure and knowledge, and aims to accelerate their growth from ideation to designing to product launch. ACICs, we have only 12 of them right now, but the aim is really to take them to a level of 50s, around 50s across the country. And the fellowship aims to bring a social impact by tapping the rural youth to transform their ideas into market-ready products. Now, this is a very tough and a very challenging job. It's not an easy job. It requires a lot of hand-holding, and it requires access to the market, which is, and providing innovators the ability of accessing markets is never easy. And therefore, this fellowship should really be unique is unique in many ways. And I'm glad that there is an operational manual highlighting different pillars required to build a successful community innovation. And this operation manual is fairly uniquely designed to both identify, disseminate, and perpetuate the whole entrepreneurial journey, and should really push entrepreneurship at the grassroots level. So I really compliment, this is the International Day of Women and Girls in Science, and the youthful entrepreneurs of India will be able to avail this benefit. They will be able to engage and in this fellowship, and I hope they are able to solve many of the community challenges at the grassroots level. And as we solve challenges of health, education, nutrition, many of the unique challenges of India, they will find solution not merely to the problems of India, but also to the problems of the vast number of people who are moving from poverty to middle class in the next decade. And therefore, their market will not be restricted to India, but actually restricted to a market size of over 500 to 600 million, which is a very vast market. But this would require a huge amount of energy, a huge amount of passion, huge amount of commitment, and a huge amount of dedication by both UNDP and Atal Innovation Mission to make it succeed. So I wish them all the best.
Thank you very much, sir. Let us next hear from Dr. Rajiv Kumar, the Vice Chairman of NITI Aayog.
Mr. Kunoda, Mr. Amitabh Khan, Dr. Chintan Vaishnav, Priya Naik, friends, colleagues. Wonderful to be here to launch the Community Innovator Fellowship on this International Day of the Girls in Science. And I think, I hope therefore that the Community Innovator Fellowships will be biased in favor of girls as we go forward. Now that won't be a very easy objective to meet in our society. But I think that's the challenge we need to face. I was just asking, and I was told that in every ECIC, of which there are 12 and there are going to be 50, 5 to 10 Community Innovation Fellowships will be awarded. And I hope that at the end of the year, at the end of this day next year, I am told that more than 60% are awarded to females and to girls, women, because the age group I'm told is between 18 to 35. So women is the right category. That's one point. The second thing is that, as Amitabh already mentioned, this will require a lot of passion from everybody who is sponsoring this. I'm not yet clear as to who owns these ACICs. Where does the ownership reside? Is it a local entrepreneur? Is it somebody like Ms. Priya Naik, which would be very good? But that whoever that is will have to create coalitions, both within the local community and partnerships outside, to make that happen, because all the inputs that make for success, which have been spelled out, are quite various and are quite diverse, and therefore that will be again a real challenge as far as I am concerned, especially if you're going to work in tier 2 and tier 3 cities, which at the moment are not the strongest fertile grounds for innovation. And I think that we must recognize that. The third point that I wanted to make is that, in my mind, innovation and jugaad are very different. And I've had a very dear friend of mine started this, and I know that indigenous innovations meeting local needs can very often be in the nature of jugaad. Now, and their definition of jugaad is that it's very contingent upon existing conditions and therefore not generalizable, that innovation is not utilizable across other parts. And I hope this will not slip into that. And innovations would be in the nature of where they will generate at some stage, at least some percentage of them will generate some IP at some point. Because innovation to me is something which is related to an IP at some point, whether it's TRL 3, 4, whatever. I mean, so that's the thing that I would like to emphasize. I often sort of say that we should look at the funds and support that we are giving in dollar terms, because that's what makes you comparable in terms of achieving success. And I hope, therefore, rupees 2 lakh, up to 2 lakh, I noticed, and not even starting with 2 lakh, would be sufficient for a fellow to succeed in doing all that he or she, all that she is expected to do. If not, maybe we should review it going forward. I remember an incident, and again, the founder of Jugaad, Professor Anil Goel, pointed this out to me, that Anil Gupta, that Mahatma Gandhi, when he announced, made an advertisement in the English newspapers for a new model of charkha in 1941 or 40, announced a reward of 10,000 guineas, and that was in 1941. So innovations come at that level. So let's rethink, maybe if required. And also, I noticed that you've got 4,000 square feet for the ACIC, and that's a 30 yard by 30 yard kind of a structure. What will we have inside that? So, look, massive congratulations. Well done. Take it to the grassroots. But let's create a model which will be successful. And therefore, I would be very keen to come back a year later from now to see how this is done. And I would hope that Mangesh and Chintan will give us some very good news on how these things have succeeded. Thank you, and once more, all the very best for this wonderful venture, which is, as Chintan said, the second argument for expanding innovations to everybody in the country and not restricting it either by language or geography. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. You have raised two very important questions. The first, that why can't this program be of the same size as mainstream innovation? And second,
whether it requires to be.
Whether it requires to be.
And can it be successful without that?
Without that, yes. Thank you. And also the question of Jugaad. You remember Professor Anil Gupta, who vehemently has said that we're not here about celebrating mediocrity in the name of Jugaad. So I think we'll embrace that principle here as well. So I think we'll next do the launch. And then thank you. So
how do we do it? Stand up. Pointer. Which one? Anything? I think that's it, no? Very good. Ajak, come close. Come close. Roko. Squeeze. Well, thank you. All the best. Very good. Well done.
Just say thank you. So this.
Oh, and then the operational manual.
Yes. Oh, and the operational manual. Sorry, my bad.
So that's only online. That's only online. That's only online, sir.
That's only online.
Yeah, the digital copy.
That's only online.
Yeah, the digital copy.
Our job has been taken over by.
I want to just say a quick thank you to everybody. And we look forward to working together. Also, a big thank you to the ACIC team, Kanika, Anmol, Ankita, and Shelley. Yes.
Great work.
Thank you.
All the best.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you so much. Well, it's always nice to
All the
meet
best
you.
for your
Thank you
trip
very much.
back to Japan.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hope to see you again soon.
See you again.
Yes, thank you.